A city based on industry, from market stalls to collieries, owners, directors, and entrepreneurs. Oh, we've got all that and more. No matter how high you fly, no matter how far you go, the spotlight's on you, and we call Wrexham home.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Wrexham Business Spotlight podcast. My name's Adrian, I'm the host. We're sponsored by AB Accountancy, and this week I'm delighted to be joined by Dylan from Mountforce.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So Dylan, just to start off, do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you? What do people need to know about you?
So my name's Dylan and I'm the founder of Mountforce, and Mountforce is an activewear and lifestyle brand based in Wrexham, and the mission of Mountforce is to encourage people to become the best version of themselves by becoming dedicated, disciplined, not just in the gym but out of the gym as well. And that's really the mission behind Mountforce. Obviously we're selling performance gear, so that's made to be breathable and all stuff like that. So whether you're boxing or going for your runs, it's made to actually enhance your performances. But not only that, but we're creating a real community. We're trying to strive to obviously impact our community to become the best version of themselves. And yeah, that's what Mountforce is.
Okay. How long's Mountforce been going?
About 7 to 8 months now.
Okay.
So it started off as a classroom idea. So I'm doing level 2 business in Yale College Cambria, and last year I did a level 1 course, and we got the opportunity to take part in a enterprise. So it was me and obviously a few other members, and we were thinking, right, what can we do to actually, not just win, but actually to take something further. Mm-hmm. So that's where Mountforce first, the idea came about, and the idea came about last year, January, February possibly, and then we didn't actually launch officially until the end of June.
Okay. So it's sports clothing, active clothing. Are you aiming at any particular industries in there, or is it quite a general wear?
I mean, it's quite general, to be honest. I mean, right now we're a lot into the boxing. For example, we've got multiple athletes who are boxers, and I mean, I do boxing myself on and off. So that's the main thing that we're kind of tapping into is the boxing, I guess, industry, if you want to call it. And then obviously, in terms of what we're selling, it's a variety of different sports, whether it's running, going out, or just day-to-day life.
And people who sort of go to the gym casually, it would be suitable for them as well?
Yeah, be suitable for them, yeah. And like I said, we've built it to actually enhance performances. So not just to look good and feel good, but actually when you're working out to think, oh, this actually fits nice, breathable. So that's what we're really aiming for as well.
Okay, great. So when you had your college programme and Mountforce came about, what made you choose clothing of all the possible things you could have done?
Well, to be honest, there was a lot of ideas coming to the table. I mean, I like to look into a little bit of philosophy, so we were thinking to do a book about that because we had to do something that was community or environmentally based. So we were going to do that, and then the idea first came to do an outdoor brand, an outdoor clothing brand. And then I remember I was sat there and I was thinking, I can actually do something with this. Not just sell clothing, but to actually, encourage people to stop sitting around, but actually go out there and get active. Mm. And that's really where that idea came about. So it wasn't just to, sell clothes, but actually to have a whole bigger mission.
And I guess taking something from sort of a college project idea to being a living, breathing business is quite a big jump, isn't it? Did that happen naturally, or was that difficult?
Well, I think there was a lot of learning processes to that happened, obviously. It was obviously first started to win the enterprise, which we won the North Wales one, went to the Welsh final in Cardiff University. We didn't win that one, but we got the Best Presentation Award. So I think after that, it was the realisation of quite happy, okay, now we can start. But it was now this is a completely different thing, because it was all about, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to do. And then it quickly transitioned to, okay, now we are doing that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it quickly transitioned from classroom idea of trying to win the enterprise to then, right, let's actually get started and do what we're saying we're going to do.
So what were them sort of starting points? Talk us through that journey.
So obviously, because I'm young myself, I'm not very educated on business. I'm still learning every day. So I was like, right, what do I need to do? So obviously you need to register your business. You need to educate yourself on budgeting and all this type of stuff. Honestly, there's a load of things. I can't pinpoint one exact one. But it was just educating on myself on, right, how do I start a business? How do I run a business? And then obviously we came to got accountants, we got a grant from Big Ideas Wales, and that really pushed us to actually start the business from there. So like I said, it's every day is a learning day, but I'm just prepared to see what happens.
As someone who has studied myself and obviously has worked, you learn a lot more doing, don't you, than studying? It's probably learning more on this in your course, I would imagine.
Yeah, because on your course, I'm sat there in class and then the tutor's speaking to me saying, this is how you do budgeting, this is how you do this. But obviously you learn a lot from that, but in my mind I'm sitting in class and I'm just kind of like, half of my brain's thinking, oh, what am I doing tomorrow for Mountforce? Whereas when I'm actually doing something, let's say, Mountforce work, I'm learning on the job. And even if I make a mistake, I can go, right, okay, I know where I went wrong with that, so I know how to improve myself. So you definitely learn a lot more doing it rather than just learning.
It's nothing like making mistakes that cost you money to really learn faster. So.
No, exactly, no. But I mean, it's just, a lot of people as well, they don't like to have mistakes. They think, mistakes is a big thing. Whereas personally, I think mistakes can actually be a huge thing for you because you can learn a lot from that mistake. Obviously you can analyse, sit there and say, how do I go wrong, how do I do better next time? So obviously there's still going to be mistakes made on the way now, but it's just about being prepared for that and learning as I go.
I like the saying that failure's not a tattoo, it's a bruise, and you just pick up bruises along the way, don't you? And sort of recover from them.
That's what it is. And starting Mountforce, obviously, so for the past 7 months where we have been officially a business, there's obviously been a lot of obstacles in the way. And it's just how do I overcome that, not just personally, but how do I, manage to get Mountforce to overcome these obstacles so we can keep pushing further and further. So, like you said, it's just, you just got to keep going and you just got to take it on the chin and learn as you go.
Yeah. So you said you're trying to build a community as well as a business with Mountforce. Can you just tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so the whole mission of Mountforce is obviously, like I said, to encourage people to become the best version of themselves. And we don't want to just, say, here's clothing, go and try. It's actually like, right, we want to create a community, involved with the brand so we can potentially do events and all stuff like this. So already, I think, so last month in December, we've done 2 stalls in the college, and that was the first face-to-face thing we did ever. And that really was a big thing for us because we could, speak to people face-to-face, tell people our mission, they could speak back to us, and really bond together and build those relationships. So we've already built a community now where we've got people wearing our gear, where they're boxing, where they're in the gym and all stuff like this. But it's about creating a community of all of us striving together to become again the best version of ourselves. So not just like this is how I see for the future, not just myself saying as the founder, look, you need to do this, you need to do that. But also other people within the community helping each other out, and even people saying things to me, athletes involved in the community, and that's how I really see it going, and that's what the mission is and the vision is.
Okay, so are you building sort of social media platforms to sort of get that community together as well?
Yeah, so we've got an Instagram, a TikTok, and we're looking to launch a YouTube and a Facebook as well. So obviously that allows us to communicate through social media. We're looking into something as well, which it's been covered about the Mountforce space. It's going to be, I'm not too sure what platform, whether we're going to do it on our website or through another platform, but it's going to be basically like, the best way to describe it is like a massive group chat but with a lot of features in it, so everyone's together and everyone speaking together, motivating each other, giving each other advice. If people, for example, if someone is quite low in life and they're saying, right, I've had enough of this, I want to better myself, they join the community, and the community, this is where I see it going, not just me saying, no, this is what you need to do, but the community itself, edging that person on, saying, come on, let's get to this. So it's really about building right now on social media so people can see us, so we can get our presence, and then further along the line getting the stuff like the Mountforce space up and running and all stuff like this, so it can all come together quite smoothly.
Okay. What are the opportunities that you see sort of in this industry of sort of sports clothing and activewear?
Well, so I work in JD, so obviously every day I'm seeing all these different brands, and so for example when I am boxing...
JD stock in Mountforce yet?
No, not yet. Yeah. Maybe in the future, but we'll have to see. But like for example when I'm boxing, so obviously I'm on and off with boxing, but when I am, I used to wear a lot of these brands. Obviously, I'm not gonna name them, and the design of it was really nice. But in terms of the actual function of it, you know, it wasn't really breathable, a bit tight. So that's the thing that we want to make a difference in terms of the clothing itself. So like, for example, our stealth t-shirts, which is our first product, you can see if you have it.
Just what's a stealth t-shirt for people who
Stealth
don't know?
t-shirt, so it's a breathable top, you know, with a good fit around it, and it's basically made to be breathable. And I'm not wearing it now, I'm wearing the jumper. But yeah, it's made to be all breathable and all stuff like that. And the main thing behind designing that was to make it, again, just breathable and the fit to be good. So when you're boxing or you're in the gym, you're not getting held back. You know, you can feel the breathability as you're wearing it. And in terms of the clothing, that's what we're trying to make a difference with. And we're, again, like I say, trying to enhance performances. And also, again, like, I think a lot of customers, they feel kind of lost. You know, they don't really get a lot of guidance. It's kind of just, here's a top, good luck. Whereas we want to do more than that. We want to obviously sell performance gear, but also create the community, which obviously we talked about. And that's what we're really trying to do. And that's what we spotted in this industry is a real big problem.
Okay. So there's some opportunities, and it is obviously a very big market, but there's obviously a lot of big, very well-known names as well that you're sort of now competing against. How do you find that?
Well, obviously coming into this industry, I mean, when Mountforce first started, to be honest, I was a bit thinking, you know, I'm a young lad from Wrexham, people will get behind it, and instantly it'll be all good. And then I obviously first few months started, and it was like, okay, we're not as big as them, and there's a reason people are going to them and not us, is because they're well known and well trusted. Obviously, we're new, we can't do anything about that. So it's just about continually going, continually pushing our mission, continually doing what we're trying to do, what the vision is. So eventually people start to get the recognition of Mountforce by what we stand for, and then people realise, oh, okay, this is a brand I can really get behind. And obviously, I mean, the big brands, they've got multiple offices, all this stuff. So that's obviously, you know, we haven't got that sort of stuff. But it's just about how can we really challenge the big faces when they're well known, well established, and we aren't. So we've just got to keep pushing so people can actually recognise us in, I guess, the same way to trust us as well.
So what is your main sort of strategies for how you're going to become more known and get everyone to know about Mountforce? What are you doing for that?
Yeah, so we really want to build a community up. And I mean, inside the community, we've also got, you know, multiple athletes.
Okay.
Corey Jones, Sean Yaxley, professional boxers, we've got personal trainers. So they're obviously already involved in our community. So a lot of people are seeing them and seeing, oh, okay, these are people who are actually being the best version of themselves, and they're representing Mountforce. So it's about building the community. So that's the main thing behind it. So people don't just see Mountforce and see, you know, oh, this is gear that actually is really good for performance, but looking at Mountforce and going, that's a community that's really striving to make an impact and make a difference to people's lives. And through that, I really think that's where the difference will be made.
So the athletes you've got on board that you talked about, do they compete in your gear, or are they using it for training?
Using it for training. You know, we've got a few athletes who will be fighting soon. So, you know, they'll be wearing Mountforce on their shorts, for example. But yeah, they'll be training in the gear, you know, preparing for their fights, preparing for their shows. Like we've got CJ down in Power Zone. He's preparing for a show in a few months as well. So he's training in the gear pretty much every day in Power Zone. So that's what they're doing. They're representing Mountforce. And it's not just because, you know, it's, oh, okay, you know, let's represent it. But they also believe in the mission as well. I spoke to them, you know, face to face, and I've got good relationships with all of the athletes. And they really believe in the mission, and they also want to come along on the journey. We want to support them, and they want to support us. And that's really how it is.
And do they have sort of decent sized social media followings to
Yeah, so you've
sort
got
of jump on?
Yeah, so you've got Corey Jones, who is from Rose, obviously not far away. He's just got over to 20,000 followers on Instagram. He's got same on TikTok as well, and he's recently gone professional. So he's really building himself up. You know, we've got CJ with a few thousand followers. So yeah, it's really at that stage where obviously we're still growing, but they're also growing with their careers as well. So it both ties in together of both of us, you know, both Mountforce and the athletes trying to become the best of themselves.
And then they can obviously be seen on visibility in the Mountforce gear and
Yeah,
hopefully,
absolutely.
Hopefully aspiring people will pick up on that. And
Yeah, and that's the thing with the community as well. So when they see these athletes, you know, they see Corey Jones boxing all the time and winning these international medals when he was boxing for Wales as an amateur, they see that and like, okay, that's a lad that is going out there. He is doing, you know, he's being determined, disciplined. He's doing what he doesn't necessarily want to do, but has to do, and he's achieving all of this stuff. Why can't I do that? So that's how it comes together.
yeah, I guess a comparable sort of example to what you're trying to do would be Gymshark, who was started trying to compete against these sort of global names, and I think they did it off athletes, didn't they? Rather than using sort of traditional marketing, they got a lot of sponsored athletes and they followed that route, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the way they did it. Yeah, and I think I've got nothing bad to say about Gymshark. I've got loads of respect for them. Ben Francis, he started it when he was 19, and yeah, he got all these athletes to promote his gear and all stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I would say in a way you're right as well. But again, what we're trying to do is to, you know, build this real community, because obviously Gymshark's got a community, but we're trying to build something, you know, that comes together, you know, as if it's like a you know, a group of soldiers together, if you like. You know, that's the type of stuff it is.
This episode of the Wrexham Business Spotlight podcast is kindly sponsored by AB Accountancy, a leading local firm with offices in both Wrexham and Llangollen, passionate about supporting you and your business with their finances and tax. If you want to get in touch with AB Accountancy, there's a link to their website in this episode description.
So in this industry, obviously we talked about trying to compete against big people. They've obviously got huge budgets behind them, and I'm guessing you're not in that place at the moment.
I wish.
So what sort of are the funding requirements and what difficulties have you got sort of funding with your plans?
Yeah, so obviously I work in JD, so pretty much all of my money I'm making from JD is going towards Mountforce. When Mountforce first started, we got a grant from Big Ideas Wales. Obviously that was a startup grant to start your business. So that started the business and helped us, you know, get everything steady and allow the smooth operations to happen. And now the money is obviously coming from me personally. And what most of the finances is being spent on is obviously your stock, you know, your web services, your advertisements, for example, on social media. So again, it's all about learning still. Obviously, that's the stage that it still is at. But yeah, in terms of the funding requirements, it's all about the advertisements and just getting out there as well.
The stock is obviously a big one in any sort of clothing industry, because you need to stock multiple sizes for all your products, don't you? Because obviously there's a range of sizes that we all fit into. So
yeah, so I mean, when I'm in JD, I'm in the stock room, I am as well. So obviously that's helped a lot in terms of managing the stock with Mountforce. So yeah, we've obviously got to manage the stock correctly. Even if we mess up like the wrong order, you know, that could be like, oh, we misspent on that. You know, oh, what do we do now? So it's all about managing it correctly and making sure that obviously we're getting the correct stock that we need. And when we first started as well, we didn't really know what sizes were going to be the most popular. Obviously, you know, doing the research, seeing in terms of activewear, which ones are the most popular. Obviously, medium is sky high, but now obviously being launched and obviously getting sales, now we can see, right, you know, medium is very popular, large is very popular, small not as much as before, and all stuff like that. So now I think with that in mind, that helps us in the future in terms of getting the correct stock as well.
Yeah, it's understanding your market as well, isn't it? And
100%.
And aiming at it, yeah. So what about advertising? That, like, people spend X amount of money on advertising. Are you just trying to do all the sort of free advertising tools, social media and?
So obviously we post like videos and pictures on social media, but we use Instagram ads quite a lot as well. So obviously we tried like TikTok ads and stuff like that. And I didn't really think it was working too much, whereas with the Instagram ads, it was actually, you know, it was working. So I think like at the start when I started the Instagram, you could kind of see, okay, it's got good ideas, but you know, it's a young lad behind this. Whereas now it's kind of leveled up to that next level where if we obviously spend ads on Instagram, Instagram is pushing it quite a lot. So, for example, our last post done really well because it was a mixture of people in the community, you know, engaging with that post, and also people who were seeing it through the Instagram ad engaging with that post. So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, Instagram ads has been a massive thing for us so far.
Do you see an immediate return on investment for that, or?
Not really. It's more about building the presence, like building the followers. Obviously just being visible. So we did try Google Ads as well, and it was working. It was bringing in traffic, but I think in terms of the price, that's something that's going to be coming later down the line.
Yeah, my personal opinion on Google Ads is it's worthwhile if you're going to get a repeat customer who's going to pay you every month or use you regularly. It's not so good if someone will click on the Google ad and just buy one top off you, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
It then doesn't quite work out, does it, in the costings?
No, and I think especially because when we done the Google ads, it was when it was like the first month of Mountforce being established. So people would have been going, oh, that looks nice, but who's that? So kind of gone straight off it. Whereas obviously when it comes later down the line, people will know who we are. So when it comes in the Google ads and stuff like that, I believe it would work then.
Are there any opportunities sort of now or in the future to get stocked in any sort of shops? Sort of local shops that might sort of suit, for example?
Yeah, obviously, you've got local shops which we would be potentially looking to go into. But, I mean, if I'm brutally honest, I want to be very careful with stuff like that because, again, I mean, going back to the Gymshark have, from my knowledge, stayed purely on their own websites and in their own stores, which I very much like that because that goes, let's say Mountforce did that because Mountforce has a lot of control over the stuff. But in the meantime as well, I mean, I work in JD, I've got so much respect for JD and I really like what JD does. So places like that would be pretty much ideal for Mountforce as well. But instead, of going, right, let's try and get in any shop we can, I want to be very careful about it because if that shop doesn't match my vision, then I'm not willing to put Mountforce in there.
Agree, yeah. So you're fairly new into this journey. What's been the hardest thing you've experienced? Or what's been harder than you thought it would be?
Harder than I thought. Like I said, there's been a lot of obstacles. I would guess just thinking it's going to be all easy, to be honest. I thought, going into business, people are going to like the idea and boom, there we go. But no, obviously that's not how it works. So I think the hardest obstacle was just being unexpected in how it would turn out. Obviously after a few months I gathered, okay, right, I understand why it didn't work out because this and this. So even through the meantime of that there's been loads of obstacles. But it's just about, I don't think I was prepared enough to think, what if it didn't work straight away?
I think in business people need to know, like and trust you. And building those things is a lot harder than just opening a business and it working from day one, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, that's what I thought it would be. I thought, because obviously we got coverage before we launched as well, so I thought people in Wrexham, see a young lad, see the gear, oh, that'll be really good, but it's all about, okay, yeah, that's good, and I'll support that, but would I actually buy any of their products? So that's where it's kind of gone into, obviously tuned in, where it's like, right, okay, you need to learn this now, you need to learn how to change that. But you just need to gain the trust rather than just saying, this is what I want to do, what do you think? You need to gain the trust and build relationships as well.
You've been featured locally in the media, haven't you? Was it Even Leader did an article on you, I think?
Yes. It was a man called Martin. I had like a meeting with him in the college. Yeah, lovely guy, and he obviously put us out there, and it spread quite a lot throughout Wales as well, which I was quite surprised at. Obviously, good to see. And that was like, I think, the first point where Mountforce was really becoming visible, because now people were seeing what we're trying to do, not just selling clothes, but how we want to build this community, how we have these athletes. That was the real moment where I was like, right, people are actually looking at us now and eyes are on us.
You're obviously a young man, Dylan, and at the start of your journey. What's the benefits and what's the drawbacks of doing this so young?
The benefits, well, to be honest, I think the benefit of doing this so young is the energy. I mean, the energy and the will, I guess the will to win as well. Because you're young, you don't really think about consequences. Not in a bad way. I mean, if anything happens, you don't really think about if this messes up, what's going to happen. All you think about is the vision for the future, and how do you get there. So by using the energy I've got as I'm young, and with that vision, you just got to, like a steam train, just got to use all of it while you can. But obviously, being young, I think a lot of people might not take me seriously. Now, when I meet people face to face, obviously I don't see any issue with that. But let's say over like a Zoom meeting or something like that, or a phone call, people will hear my voice. I'm not, a man, so people will hear my voice and be like, okay, yeah, fair play, but I don't think so, mate, type of stuff. So it's just about not being taken seriously, and I think inexperience as well. Because obviously, like I said, I'm learning pretty much every day. So it's the inexperience of me not being in business before, learning every day, but obviously enjoying it and seeing what happens.
So a couple of things come back to on that. You're what I would call a bright young thing, and I think most people would recognise that and want to support you and help you. And on my lack of experience, I know the Wrexham business community very well. I think you could approach anyone and ask for advice, and people would be more than happy to help you out and would want to see Mountain Force do well as a Wrexham company.
Yeah.
So yeah, get yourself out there and meet as many Wrexham businesses as you can.
No,
I'd say.
I do appreciate that.
And you never know what sort of links evolve. You meet someone and then down the line they remember you and they recommend you to someone else, and it can all work quite well.
Yeah, 100%, and I mean I appreciate that as well. But yeah, I mean obviously I've got people like Peter from Big Ideas Wales. If I need any advice, I can go to him. I've got some other people, like people in the King's Trust, for example. So obviously, if I do have anything that I need, help with or advice with, I can go to these people. But yeah, no, honestly, I do appreciate that as well.
And the other advantage I think of doing it young is you kind of got a bit less to lose. You're not trying to use a business and worrying about paying a mortgage and feeding kids that someone older might be, are you? You are able to sort of give it all and be a bit more fearless, I think, as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's the fearless mentality. Like I said, it's you're not necessarily thinking about the consequences. I do think about if this doesn't go well, what would happen. But that's like 1 second of thought, and then I think no, that won't happen. Keep going, and that's how it is. And yeah, like you said, I do agree with that as well.
Yeah. So tell everyone, where's Mountain Force going to be in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? What's the vision?
The vision, okay. 5 years' time, an established UK brand with a still an ever-growing community, but with a bigger community as well. But yeah, a well-established UK brand with people knowing what we stand for, what we're doing, and to really start hearing about these stories about how we've improved people, mentally and physically as well. 10 years' time, hopefully by that time we're moving internationally. Obviously that's the big vision for it. But yeah, hopefully we'll be internationally then. And I think the thing is as well with a lot of brands is I think when they go further they kind of change their core identity. The main thing is, okay, I want to go international, etc. But I want to keep that core identity of, look, this is Mountain Force. We stand for being dedicated, being disciplined. This is us. So I want to make sure that no matter what, that is the core identity that stays with us as well.
Do you think at that time you'll still be working with sort of sponsored athletes, or is that like a starting point to get you there?
No, 100%. We will still be with them, absolutely. Because, like I said, I built personal relationships with them as well. And I mean, when I first met them, I mean, they, for every reason, could have said, no, I'm okay, I don't want to represent Mountain Force. But they've said, yeah, look, I agree with what you're doing. I think that your vision is, fantastic, and I want to help you on that journey. So, they're going on their journeys with their professional careers. Mountain Force is on our journey to improve people. So we're going to both, rise together, basically.
And you'll have some internationally recognised sports people in your gear at that point.
Yeah, some world champions and some stuff like that. Yeah,
Olympic gold medalists and
gold medalists and all stuff like that. Yeah,
and hopefully some athletes from Wrexham who've become successful as well, and they can have that link in. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, around Wrexham there is a lot of athletes who are up and coming as well, who have a huge potential. For example, Corey Jones, obviously, who is a Mountain Force athlete. So it'll be interesting to not just see where we go, but where they go as well. Because I do believe that the athletes we have now as well, that they will go a long way as well.
Excellent. And follow their journey with them.
And follow their journey. Yeah.
Right. We always finish by asking everyone the same 3 questions as we go. So, someone was starting a business locally today, and they came to you for some advice. Could be someone who'd done the same sort of course as you or something like that. What's the one thing you've learned would you give out as advice?
Just be prepared for the hardship, because it's all nice thinking I'm going to start a business and it's going to do this, that and the other, but you've got to be prepared for the hardship as well. And a lot of people, secondly, with the hardship, a lot of people will start going through these obstacles and shy away from the opportunity. Because, I mean, personally, I think if you've got a massive obstacle ahead, I believe that's a massive opportunity to maybe get something better out of that, or to improve from that and take it on board and move on. So when you come to these hardships as well, when you obviously do start a business, if you're thinking of it, be prepared for it, but also make sure you've got the willpower to get through that and, you know, see what other opportunities you've got.
And a hardship or a challenge separates you out from other people, because not everyone will get over that. So you know, that's how you sort of elevate yourself and separate.
Yeah, the majority of people, when they have something hard, you know, something that they view as they can't beat, they just shy away from the opportunity and they say, it's not for me, I don't want to do it. But there's, you know, a few people out there who think, right, if that's something that's in my way, then let's go through it. And by doing that, you teach yourself to, you know, do what you necessarily might not want to do, you know, the discipline side of things, but also you just keep learning as you go, you know, coming over these obstacles. It's not just a thing in business, but a thing in life as well. So yeah, you've just got to be prepared for the obstacles, and you've got to be ready to fight through it as well.
So you gave us your sort of big vision for 5 and 10 years, but what does success look like to you?
Success. Looking back, you know, in a few years' time, and seeing Mountforce as a big international brand, and hearing all of these stories about how Mountforce has helped all these different people. And, you know, like for an example, I want to hear stories about, let's say, someone from Newcastle, they, you know, quite low in life and didn't know where to start. I want to hear stories of them seeing Mountforce, joining our community, and, you know, becoming a professional boxer, smashing world titles. That's the sort of stuff I'm aiming for. So, you know, when I hear those stories about Mountforce, how we've improved all these people, that's when, you know, that's what success looks like to me.
Okay. And finally, the Wrexham Business Spotlight has been shining on you for this episode. So we ask you to return the favour and mention another business worthy of some praise.
I say Bank Street Social.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use TikTok much. I use it to, obviously, for the Mountforce. But when I do use it for maybe 10 minutes, they always come up on it, every single time.
They're prolific on social media.
Oh yeah, all the time.
And like good quality content as well.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, who's behind
Phil.
it, but Phil, he seems like a really nice guy as well, a really likeable guy. So I think, yeah, he's doing the right thing. So
Yes.
I would say them.
I think they were first episode on. So,
The first one's on.
Yeah, so we're big
special
fans
one.
of Bank Street Social for all your coffee and cake requirements.
There we go.
You might get to meet Dylan in having his,
Hopefully.
was he a frappuccino or whatever you're on? I don't know.
Cappuccino. Nice cappuccino.
Yeah. So Dylan, that concludes it. Thank you very much for doing this. It's been amazing to hear, you know, such a young person with such great enthusiasm and ideas, and generally I think Mountforce can be a great success, and thanks so much.
No, I appreciate it so much.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Wrexham Business Spotlight podcast. Please like and hit the share button, and please leave us your comments and thoughts on any of our social media pages. See you at the next one.